Hey, Healing Journeys today. Butch Hartman and Julieann Hartman here.
Yes, hello.
We are so excited. We're here on HARTbeat, where we talk about relationships, and we talk about romance, and we talk about your godly marriage. And we're really hoping that things are going great in your relationship. All men love talking about this
All
stuff.
men love talking
can't
about that
wait
kind
to
of
talk
stuff.
about it, right, men?
Yeah.
You feel me out there.
I
We're
love
glad
how you said that we talk about romance. Not very often.
No, I know we don't actually, but we should talk about romance more. Listen, guys, we're here because we've been married over 30 years, and we are just thrilled to be able to talk to you and minister to anybody out there who's in a marriage. It's not easy, but it's also not that hard if you know how to speak to each other.
Hey, listen, you know what? It's hard if you make it hard. I mean, it really is. But before we get started with anything, we have something I want to show you. This is a vision that came to pass. So 3 years ago, my husband was asked to illustrate a children's Bible for HarperCollins.
That's me. I'm the husband.
He's my husband. And ta-da!
Here's the Bible that I was able to illustrate. Check it out. It's called the Garden Children's Bible. And it stars the characters from our cartoon called The Garden. There's Lenny. There's Lucy the lamb, Lenny the lion. And there they are walking with Jesus in the Garden of Eden. And all through this Bible, I worked on this for 3 years. Let me show you some illustrations.
You have to get this for your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, your churches.
Yep, it's just a great Bible.
Everything.
There's comic books in here with Jesus and Lucy and Lenny in there. There are
the big pictures.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one. There's some
that's amazing.
Blue, black, and white illustrations here. There's Paul getting blinded after he encountered Jesus on the road.
Wow.
Here is, gosh, there's so many cool pictures. Oh yeah, here's David and Goliath.
I love that. Look at this.
David and Goliath.
It is beautiful. It's probably one of the most beautiful children's Bibles I've ever seen.
Well, it's very sweet. Thank you.
No, it really is.
And it really is very colorful. It jumps off the page. The opening page right here, you can see. Help me open this up, Julie.
Yeah.
I don't want to tear anything. But you can see Lenny and Lucy in there. The child can write their name in there, who the Bible's from. They can color this page if they want.
Yes.
It's so cool. There's over 300 illustrations in this Bible.
It's amazing.
It's not available, as of this recording, it's not available now, but you can pre-order it on Amazon. It's the Garden Children's Bible, illustrated by Butch Hartman. And it's right in line with our cartoon, The Garden, that is now streaming on PureFlix and the ChristianCinema.com. It's in Australia on the biggest Christian station in Australia.
Oh.
And we're also on Yippee TV.
Yeah, and also if you want to just go get a download of the Christmas episode
of The Garden,
which is obviously it's December, so it's time. Go to gardencartoon.com
/shop. Yeah, gardencartoon.com /shop. We'll put the link in the description of the video. Yeah. But you can get our garden Christmas episode called The Greatest Gift. And there's a great song in there called Christmas is Jesus' Birthday.
Which it is.
People forget about that. Yeah. But if you want to get some really fun Christmas stuff, check it out. And you can pre-order this Bible. It'll be ready, I believe, after the first of the year. But this is an advanced copy that I got.
It's beautiful.
It is just such a blessing and so cool to see. You know, guys, I wanted to tell you, when you work on something, I mean, this was 3 years ago when I got assigned to do this, and they asked me to do this. By the way, here's Jesus the boy. When he's 12, he's teaching in the temple right there. But when I was asked to do this 3 years ago,
picture time.
Oh, I know. Well, and real quick, but when I was asked to do this 3 years ago, and from the first drawing, which was 3 years ago, I know I had about 300 drawings in front of me. It looks like such a huge mountain to climb, but if you just stick with it, step by step, one step at a time. That's why I drew Jesus and Lucy and Lenny walking here, because Jesus walked with Adam and Eve in the garden, and one step at a time, you take that step toward your vision, and your vision will come to pass. Whether it's something to do like a Bible, or whether it's your marriage, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is.
I was going to say, your marriage too it is a journey. Your marriage. We've been 30 years on a journey. It wasn't just for that time, and then I don't know, like 5 years, and then it was over, and we'll go to the next one. No, it is for the life. It is till eternity, and so that's why it's so important that we are so focused on keeping this relationship good, well, healthy, right? Yeah. And strong.
Got to be equally yoked, for sure.
Yeah, but because if it's not, there's going to be this constant tearing each other's hearts, and this constant thing of just a lot of strife. And there is every evil work is in strife, and we don't want that. And so there are so many different ways that we can help each other out with working on marriages and helping each other communicate. And one thing is, we've been doing, which has been it's been fun but interesting.
Now, as a couple, we decided to do this. You can decide to do this as well.
Well, we started asking each other questions about some things. And when you ask each other questions, you have to answer them to each other. And even if it might hurt the other person, you still need to answer, because they might be doing something that they don't even realize is hurting you, and you just won't tell them. But in those conversations, you expose it, but then it gets healed because you start talking about it. And, I'm sure there are things that I said. Well, there was one thing that I said to you that you were like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that bothered you. I had no idea. And so, but he wouldn't have known had I not told him.
Right.
So there might be little things, or there might be big things, but there are things, I'm sure, in your marriage, in your relationship, whether it's a fiance or even like a boyfriend, girlfriend situation. But I'm sure there is something that you guys can talk about that will bring out the conversation that you can now start healing in your heart.
Exactly, but it doesn't happen unless you have the conversation. And I hate to tell a lot of you out there this, but you're going to grow up. All of us grow up physically. A lot of us don't grow up mentally or spiritually.
I don't want to grow up.
I'm a Toys R Us kid. Now, yes, we're old. We know that song. But the point is, if you don't act like a responsible adult, you'll never be one. I've met many people in my life that, and listen, I was this way too. You're in a physically grown adult body. You can vote, you can drink, you can drive, you can do all the things an adult can do out there in the world. You can buy a house, whatever. But if you're not mentally mature, if you're not spiritually mature, if you're not willing to take those steps, again, steps. If you don't want to take those steps into your future, into your adulthood, you're not going to be able to behave like an adult, make adult decisions. I have a relative who kind of did some drugs for many years, and this person this person did drugs, a great amount of drugs for many
I'd
years.
like to have him on the show sometime.
Maybe we should,
yeah.
This person started doing drugs at like age 13. And I did them for quite a while.
Like
and
27 years.
27 years. And so when they finally got clean, and they are clean now, which is great, hallelujah. But when they got clean, they sort of came out of it and still had the mind of a 15-year-old. They were 27 years older. What's that? 42 years old, 45 years old.
Yeah.
But they didn't think like a 45-year-old. They thought like a 15,
right.
Because their maturity had been stopped because of the drugs. They hadn't made the sacrifices adults make. They hadn't made the decisions, the choices, the steps that an adult had made. So you've got a person in a 45-year-old body, but the mind of a 15-year-old,
right.
because something had impeded the progress.
Yeah.
So we don't want you guys to stop your progress. We want you to take those adult steps and speak to your spouse, your mate, whoever you're in a relationship with, and ask them questions. And by the way, I just want to say this to some people out there. Every day doesn't have to be a question and answer fest. It's not like every day you got to do this. It's just every once in a while.
Well, okay, you say that, but
well, hold on.
you're not like everyone.
I know I'm not like everyone, but I'm just going to say this. Every day in your marriage shouldn't be like an intense, super hard thing. You should make your marriage fun and enjoyable. And these moments won't seem intense if you don't make them intense.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I get that, but really,
the woman's point of view is they want to talk all the time about everything. Am I correct?
Not necessarily. I have other things to do too.
Really?
But if there are things in your marriage that is a deal breaker, if there are things in your marriage that's making you...
No, in that case, absolutely need to talk about it.
But see, that I think, though, doing these things more often, like once a week or once whatever, however you need to do it.
Once a week is fine. I say not every day.
Right, so they don't build up, because you tend to think of it as, oh my God, I'm going to be told that you don't like this and you don't like that. What if it was you're telling each other what you love about each other? Like you're acting like
there.
Maybe it was
Why can't we do it that way, guys? See what I'm talking about?
We can totally do it that way.
I'm speaking for all the guys out there.
I know, but it doesn't mean that every time we're like, you know what you're doing wrong. No, it's what are you doing right?
What I was trying to get at, and I hope I said this clearly. A lot of people and this goes for men and women, a lot of people don't want to talk about this stuff at all because they think it's going to get intense and too deep and too scary. They're going to be told that they did something wrong.
Well, that's really what the root of it is.
Right. And so I want to make sure you guys know it doesn't have to be that way. You can sit and talk to each other like adults and say, hey, maybe we could adjust this. Let's adjust this. Maybe, and by the way, guys, I want to tell you this too. Maybe your wife wants you to go somewhere with her and you don't want to go. Guess what? Go. Okay? When you go, you're going to see all the other husbands out there who also didn't want to go, and they're going, and they're there at Bed Bath & Beyond with you. But you went. You know what I'm talking about? And ladies, there's things your husband wants to do. and you may have to go do something with him. It's the last thing on earth you thought you'd want to do. But we encourage you to give it a try. Even if it's only once, give it a try. That will show your spouse that you love them and you tried.
Right. And so...
Am I right about that?
Yes, you are. But this can be enjoyable. You just don't want to go...
It can be.
You don't want to go into it with an attitude of, this is going to be really hard. Like,
exactly
this is going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about this stuff. I don't like talking about myself, my personal feelings and all that. But let me tell you, to have a marriage last, you know, a long time and not sleep in separate beds by, you know, by the 20th year, you know, once you've raised the kids, now all of a sudden you've gone your way, he's gone his way. To do that is you're going to have to communicate. And there were years that went by that Butch and I did not communicate on very deep levels because we were raising our girls. We got really busy. And then you would start to see, like,
also
things were starting to mess with you a little bit.
You got sick as well.
Right.
I'm not blaming you for that. I'm not even saying that is a reason why, but it could have been part of the reason why. Is like when you got sick, that kind of took all of our attention away from everything.
Right. But
because like everything went to the sickness part. Like, oh my gosh, you're not feeling well. So that can happen as well.
Yeah. No. But that was the times when we really had to have those talks.
Right. And see, that's the thing.
Right.
I think sometimes we tried to. We did try.
Well, no, I mean, but it would always turn back into about how I was feeling. So that's why you've got to, like, we had to push through that and talk about, you know, what is going on between us. Because yes, I'm not feeling good. No, I don't feel like, you know, having, you know, going out and doing fun things. I didn't feel like it. Because I didn't feel good and my body had so much pain. It was like everything was a chore. So I did exactly what I needed to do to, you know, to remain involved with our girls and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like I said, there was a lot of pressure. And I've had a lot of ladies come to me and say, what do you do? What do you do when, you know, your husband wants to, you know, have intimacy and you are in so much pain? Yeah. And so I told them that...
Thanks for using the word intimacy, by the way.
Well, yes, of course.
Keeping it clean here for the G-rated audience.
Yeah. Yes. But seriously, though, that is a real thing. And because the man, even though the woman is sick, doesn't mean the man is feeling the symptoms. All he's doing...
And it could also be reversed, gentlemen. I mean, there could be something...
absolutely.
There could also be something going on with you. And it's something deep and personal, and you're not feeling the same as you always felt, and your wife needs attention. She needs you to talk to her. She needs you to tell her that she needs you to tell her that you love her. And, you know, what did Dwayne Sheriff? Dwayne Sheriff had a story where he met a guy. Said, I told her I loved her 45 years ago. I'll tell her again when I feel like it.
Yeah, see, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
You know, it's like, we know this. Men want respect and women want love.
That's
women
right. Let's stop. Let's freeze. Say that again. Say that again.
Men want respect.
Respect.
Women want to be loved.
That's right. It's actually very true.
It is exactly what we need. So when we're not feeling loved, we probably don't respect much.
And we're not feeling respected. The last thing we feel like doing is loving somebody.
Right. So,
gentlemen, can I get a witness?
No, but what it is that it's an ego problem. On both sides. I don't feel this, so I'm not going to do that.
Right. See, that's why Jesus is amazing. Let's look at a picture of Jesus again, shall we? There's Jesus. See, that's why Jesus is amazing, because he loves unconditionally.
Jesus be the center of it all.
He loves unconditionally, meaning he doesn't put any parameters on his love for you. But we as humans love conditionally. We always pull it this way. We're like, well, I'll only talk to you if you talk to me. Oh, that person was mean to me. I'm not talking to them. You know, we do that all the time. Oh, by the way, here's a picture of Moses with the 10 Commandments right there. Looky there. So just showing.
We're going to entice you all. You're going to want to go out and buy them. So I don't even know how much they are, but I know they're just beautiful.
It should say on this.
And think of it. You're going to have this in your family for the rest of your life. And you're going to say, hey, I know Butch and Julieann Hartman.
The blessing for me, it's actually $35. Okay. $35. Might be less, though. It might be discounts and things like that. But we should probably give one away one of these days.
Hey.
When we get more, I've only got this one. I can't give this one away. Yeah. But when I get more, I will get. Maybe we'll give one away. Maybe we'll see.
But this is real stuff, because really communication is very important. Mm-hmm. We cannot live without communication. We will not be able to have a marriage. You can't even work a job without communicating. Like, you need to communicate with people around you. That's just because we're humans and we have to. So how do we do that best? So maybe your first conversation with your spouse is, how do we go about these questions? Now, the questions should not come out when you're mad. that's not the time. But when you guys are both maybe on a date night, or maybe you're just, in the mornings we study together, and then a question
And by the way,
comes up.
we've made an effort lately to study in the morning together, because there was years where I would, and still up to very recently, I get up in the morning and study on my own, and she would study on her own.
But I still I still have to do my own study.
Right. And I do mine too. I get up early, do my own study, and then
we do it together. So we would normally get together because we were teaching all the time together. So yeah, but now we decided to spend an extra hour in the morning that him and I would just be talking together about the word and how things apply to us. And but anyway, but that doesn't take away from your own personal study, because we have a personal. We don't have a married relation with the Lord. I mean, wait, I take that back. We do have a married relationship. But I have to have my personal one first before I can do a married one, because I'm not going to be any good if I'm all messed up trying to have a married relationship with the Lord when I'm not even seeking Him on my own. I hope that really came out better than it sounded in my own brain.
Well, the thing is, when you hear the term the bride of Christ, as weird as this sounds, especially for guys sometimes, we are really married to the Lord.
Yes.
He is our husband, He's our wife, He's our significant other. And you're to treat your physical, worldly, not worldly, but a physical, natural significant other as you would treat the Lord. It's interesting. If you're sitting on the couch, your feet are up, you're in your underwear, TV's on, but then if Jesus Christ walked in, would you suddenly sit up and try and clean up the house and put your best clothes on and try and look good and smell good?
You just get up and drop to your knees.
Well, that's what you do, yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, you need to treat your spouse the same way. And you need to treat your spouse with that same respect that you would treat the Lord. And listen, this is a learning curve for us as well. I mean, the two of us. We, it's a daily walk, folks. It's really a daily walk. This is not something that comes easy to us either. It's easier because we've been married 30 years.
Well, we also work together, so we're spending
That's the thing too. Yeah,
every day together.
We spend a lot of time together. And so it does get, I can read her signals way easier than I used to be able to, and she can read mine a lot easier. But there's things that we do, decisions we make still, that may rub each other the wrong way, which we don't want to do. Believe me, I don't get up in the morning going, I'm going to rub my wife the wrong way today because that'll make everything awesome.
Yeah, no.
I don't do that. No, but it happens sometimes. It just happens sometimes.
So what you could do, what we'd like you to do, and give you a little bit of homework, sometime over this week between now and next Wednesday, I want you to write down this one question. What can I do better for my spouse?
Here's the question. What can I, insert name here, do better for my spouse, insert name here?
Right.
Yeah.
And then just go from there and then start a conversation. But also what I'd like you to do is also write down, what do you do well for your spouse? Your spouse.
And by the way, you haven't done all bad. I don't go thinking that we're saying that. You haven't done everything bad. You've done everything pretty great.
Yeah.
But there might be some areas that can make things even better if you're honest and open about them. That's all we're saying. Yeah.
Well, that's it today. So I'm so glad that we got on here.
Don't forget the Garden Children's Bible. Order it on Amazon, or I believe it's on Walmart too, but I know it's on Amazon. But you have to pre-order it. Let's see if I can find one more picture for you.
Oh, I'm sure you got something. But we just love you guys.
Samson and the Ark of the Covenant. But guys, we love you. What can you do to help your spouse this week? Figure it out. And we'll
talk. Communicate. And this is the time to do it. And I know that it's crazy Christmas, but there's got to be some point, maybe it's after Christmas, you have some time alone. But just ask each other that question. And then I want to hear your responses next week, okay? Love you all.
Bye, guys.
See you guys next time.